Joining me on the line is Rikki Schlotz. She's a columnist at the New York Post and a fellow at the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression and author of the forthcoming book, The Canceling of the American Mind. She has a fascinating piece over at the New York Post about why many young women are actually abandoning the birth control pill, not because they're seeking to get pregnant, but because they're worried about the side effects of birth control. Rikki, thanks so much for joining the show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. It's an important issue. I appreciate that you're helping amplify it.
Well, one of the things that's kind of fascinating here is how much of a third rail this has become. And it really is. It's almost a political third rail that if you mention that there are side effects to taking the birth control pill, which, by the way, many of these have been known about for a very long time, like they're listed among the side effects. But if you talk about this, then somehow it means that you are sort of an uber religious fanatic and you just oppose birth control generally, or you're only saying this because you oppose birth control generally. So what's the actual story here?
Yeah, I mean, the actual story here, I'm a New Yorker. I'm not in some sort of conservative bubble. And I wanted to go off the pill myself after thinking more critically about it during the pandemic and thinking about what taking these exogenous hormones might mean. And as soon as I started telling my friends, I realized virtually all my young female friends, including my progressive ones, were having the same thoughts because, of course, taking an exogenous pill of hormones every single day would affect the way that you see the world around you, the way that your brain works. And the more that I went down this rabbit hole, I realized that there is this wealth of information and researchers who have been looking into the effects of the hormonal birth control pill on women's psychology. And it's been completely just untouchable. And like, as you mentioned, the third rail, because of course, there was the Dobbs decision recently, and there's a sense that if you criticize birth control at all, period, you're criticizing it as an idea, which of course I'm not. But I think that there is attention that needs to be paid to giving women as much information as possible to make the best choices for themselves.
So let's talk for a second about the actual science surrounding the birth control pill. Again, this has not been publicly discussed by pretty much anybody. I mean, if you talk about birth control, the basic idea is that it does nothing to your body; it just stops you from having babies. It has no other impact on your brain chemistry. It has no impact on your moods. It has no impact on what you are sexually attracted to. And that's just not the science. I mean, all this data has been out there for a very long time. You're not actually reporting anything new. You're just pointing out that this stuff is true, and you're getting a lot of flack for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a breadth of impacts that it has, including partner selection. They've found that women who are on the birth control pill tend to be attracted to men that are less traditionally masculine, which is certainly interesting and might have societal impacts. There's a hugely important thing that I think is just totally overlooked, which is the cortisol hormone. Because when you interact with a stressful situation, a healthy, normal response is to have cortisol to help you figure out how to deal with it. That's just a healthy response hormonally. And if you look at women on the birth control pill, their response is virtually none. Their cortisol levels barely go up in response to a stressful situation, which looks more like that of a PTSD sufferer or a trauma survivor than a healthy young woman, which is something that, I mean, it's just shocking to me that that's been in the scientific literature since the 90s. And we're only just now having a cultural conversation about it. That's hugely important, not to mention that there are huge implications for women who will go on the pill when they're extremely young, as I did. I was 15 and tons of my friends did as well. I mean, I remember being in boarding school and at 8 p.m. you'd be sitting in the dorm room and all of a sudden you'd hear this like chime of alarms going on across the hall. Like, what's that? Oh, everyone's synced their pill together and we're all taking the pill for acne, which is a normal part of adolescence. And yet we've been medicating ourselves, and that could have enormous long-term implications, especially for mental health.
So what has been the response to your piece? Obviously, there are a lot of people, a lot of women who are saying, well, this is true, and I've stopped taking birth control, taking the pill for precisely this reason. I know this is true for my sister, classically, Abby, has talked publicly about doing this herself. This has been true for my wife. This has been true for a lot of women who actually did not like the effects that the birth control pill was having on them. So it's what you're saying is very, very common. But what has been the generalized response?
You know, it's been super mixed. I mean, there have been so many women that have reached out to me privately and said, I had this experience. I'm so glad that someone's finally covering it from the young woman's perspective. But then there's also certainly the accusations that I'm like ushering in some Handmaid's Tale dystopia, which is certainly not my desire at all whatsoever. But I think when we're looking at a situation in which 100 million women plus are on the pill right now. Most women will be on hormonal birth control at some point in their life. Only 2% of research and development, or 2% of the revenue from the pill is going to research and development. Like, women deserve more answers. We having as much information in front of us as possible is great. And I think, this is not a story for women. This is not a women's health issue. It's also a parenting issue, because if you look at the statistics right now, we're in an epidemic of a mental health crisis with young women, with suicide, depression, self-harm. And there's an amazing study out of Denmark that just shocked me and floored me, and found that women who went on the pill before age 19 were at as much as a 3 times risk of committing suicide if they were on hormonal contraceptives while they were developing, which is something that every parent should be aware of. And it tends to happen in the first 2 months of being on the pill. So if you have a daughter that goes on the pill, please just have a more pragmatic conversation with them. Have a conversation with your pediatrician, because this is not a conversation we're having, and we're just being put on these exogenous hormones from day one.
That is Rikki Schlott. You can read her piece over at the New York Post, and you can follow her over on Twitter as well. Her account is at Rikki Schlott. Thanks so much for your work on this. It really is interesting stuff, and it's fascinating how few members of the legacy media are willing to cover what is obviously a rather large issue, given the fact that, as you point out, 100 million people are probably on the pill at this point. Really appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Everything that's going on in politics may make you lose sleep. I'll tell you another thing that's making me lose sleep. So I have a lot of things in my life that are making me lose sleep right now. And my wife is pregnant with our 4th child. We got a dog, which means that I have to wake up in the middle of the night to take the dog out. I've got work. I mean, there's just a lot going on right now. This means that when I lay my head on my mattress, that mattress must be covered with a Boll & Branch sheet. That's the only way I'm falling asleep. Boll & Branch sheets are made from the finest 100% organic cotton threads on earth. Their signature hem sheets were made with threads so luxurious, 3 U.S. presidents have slept in them. Boll & Branch sheets actually soften with every wash cycle. They're made without pesticides, formaldehyde, or other harsh chemicals. And best of all, Boll & Branch will give you a 30-night risk-free trial with free shipping and returns on all orders. You're not going to want to return them. I mean, I didn't want to return them so much that I literally threw out all other sheets in my house. We only do Boll & Branch for all my kids, for me, for my wife. I don't know a better endorsement than that. It makes a great Valentine's Day gift, by the way. Get 15% off your first set of sheets plus free shipping when you use promo code Shapiro at bollandbranch.com. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com, promo code Shapiro. Now, as I've been telling you, I'm lacking sleep right now, really lacking sleep. I need coffee. I got up this morning, I had 2 giant cups of coffee because I needed it. The dog woke me up in the middle of the night for half an hour, and I went to bed late because we were doing work. And then I woke up early this morning with my kids. I need my Black Rifle coffee, and this is why I encourage you to get Black Rifle coffee as well. It is the best coffee in America. Black Rifle coffee is roasted by a veteran-led team of brilliant coffee graders here in the United States. Their founder, Evan Hafer, has actually scoured the planet for the perfect beans, ensuring they've passed the most stringent standards of excellence. They're constantly coming out with new roasts to try, like their most recent, Beware the Delaware Roast. You can sign up for Coffee Club subscription and have Black Rifle coffee delivered straight to your door on a schedule. Not to mention, Black Rifle is doing amazing work for our nation's veterans. This year alone, Black Rifle Coffee donated over 120,000 bags of coffee to veterans and first responders while expanding their own team of active duty service members, veterans, and veteran family members. Go to blackriflecoffee.com, use promo code Shapiro at checkout, get 10% off your purchase and your first Coffee Club order. Again, blackriflecoffee.com, use promo code Shapiro for 10% off. Also, you can get it in grocery and convenience stores near you. Black Rifle Coffee is America's coffee. I have been made aware of a video on YouTube that apparently is part of kind of an online trend on the TikToks and the YouTubes, and it's what the kids are doing. And there is a suggestion out there by a plastic surgery doctor that I have had lip filler, but not only lip filler, bad lip filler. Which, I mean, again, you want to make the case that I don't look good? I'm totally here for it. Fine with me. What though? So here is a plastic surgeon. This video on YouTube has 2 million hits. So apparently there are a lot of people who are very eager to believe that I got a bad lip filler, as opposed to that a particular shot of me isn't at a very flattering angle. So apparently they think that I got lip filler. By the way, most of the people who would be very pleased and upset that I got lip filler, I did not. But most of the people who would be very pleased are also perfectly in line with the idea that if a man gets a bunch of surgeries, he's now a woman. In any case, here is this person who isn't a very good doctor, I guess, because he can't actually identify when someone has had lip filler or not. Here we go.
Has Ben Shapiro had filler migrate in his lower lip? A lot of people tag me in this video showing what they believe is migrated filler. Take a look at this video though. This is the beautiful Cher, and you can see her lower lip looks kind of like Ben's lower lip. Now supposedly she had an implant that migrated, causing this appearance. So is that the same with Ben? Well, it's possible.
It isn't. It isn't. It's just not a very good shot of me. I will admit, I don't think I look great in that video. I don't think I look great in most videos, by the way. But yeah, I'm here for the full denial. I do not have lip filler. I have never had lip filler. I have no intention of having lip filler. I'm amused that people are apparently interested in the question of whether I've had lip filler. So for the record, I have not had Botox. I have not had lip filler. I am 5'9" and I weigh 158 pounds. And no matter how many people out there tell you that I'm 5'4", I'm not. And no matter how many people tell you that I have lip filler, I do not. And frankly, eyes up here, guys. You know, stop objectifying me. Stop treating me like an assemblage of body parts. I'm a human with a soul. I'm a human with feelings. So you stop that right now, internet. You and your lip filler obsessions. If you're not a member, become a member. Use code Shapiro at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans. Click the link in the description and join us.